So with me is Cillian McDonald. Cillian, how did you manage to get this job then? Chef in a Michelin-starred restaurant in Paris. Did you always want to be a chef?
I didn't actually always want to be a chef. I always had a love affair with cooking. My first dream was to play professional rugby, and unfortunately that didn't quite work out. I enjoyed the lifestyle of a chef more than the lifestyle of a professional rugby player. But I was always in the kitchen with my mother, my grandmother's cooking. And so I always loved doing it and cooking for my family. And I was studying business in college, and in my final year, I knew it wasn't what I wanted to do, and I started to work in a restaurant in Dublin, in Ireland. Right. And I did that for 3 months, and I said, yeah, it's definitely what I want to do for the rest of my life. I just loved every minute of it. The long days, the stress, the pressure in the kitchen, I just absolutely loved every bit of it. Mm-hmm. And so I ended up moving to Australia, where my family live now, and working there for a year and a half on the railway line, saving up. And I came to school here in Paris. So
you saved up with the view of coming to Paris?
Coming to Paris. So I attended Ferrandi school in the 6th year in Paris.
Right.
And it's a very, very famous school, and they run a programme for 5 months for English speakers who want to come learn their basic techniques in French food and then progress from there and go into the working world. And so as part of that programme, we were put on stages, on internships.
Right.
And part of that process was finding restaurants that we would like to work in. And then we'd bring it to our teaching chef, and he would say, okay, we recommend this for you or that for you. And they put out and ask different chefs around Paris if they have time and money, I guess, for stages. And I was lucky enough that my chef found me a job in L'Hôtel Burgundy in the 6th.
Straight away?
In the 1st. So straight away. So I did my 5 months, and then I did a 3-month internship in the restaurant. And when I finished my internship, I was lucky, I guess I impressed them enough that they gave me a job. So I've been working there ever since.
So tell us about your restaurant. It's a 3-star, 3 Michelin-star?
No, 1 Michelin-star.
1 Michelin-star.
Yeah, so it's a boutique hotel, a 5-star boutique hotel, and the restaurant inside called L'Hôtel Burgundy.
Okay.
The restaurant inside is called Le Baudelaire, and we have 1 Michelin-star.
Right. And what's it like inside?
It's beautiful, very modern, but relaxed at the same time. There's not a stiffness, I guess, to the service. You're able to relax in the restaurant and enjoy the food. It is fine dining. We do menus. You can order a la carte, but mainly we try and focus on the menus. And our chef will decide on the night what he's feeling like and what's good, what the best produce is at the time, and what plates he feels he wants to put out for everybody.
Right. And how many covers? How long would I have to reserve in advance if I wanted to?
I'd say a few weeks in advance for sure, especially coming up to the weekends.
Right.
During the weeks it can be not quiet, but we will always have a fair amount of people in the restaurant. For us, it's maximum 32 covers a night. 32 covers, and that's us pushing pretty hard. We're a small team. During the service, we'll normally have 6 to 7 chefs trying to serve 30 people. In fine dining, it's a lot of work to do. It is a lot of work to do.
So what's your day like?
So my day. So yesterday, for example, I did a split shift. So I was in work for 7:30. The service then starts at 12:30. We do the service from 12:30 until 2 o'clock. So between 7:30 and 12, we're doing all our mise en place, all our preparations for the service. And then we do the service. We do a clean up of the kitchen, and then at 2:30. 2:45, we get a break.
So you're working solidly from 7:30 till 2:30?
2:30, yeah.
Oh,
small team, so we have to just keep pushing, keep working. And then at about 2:30, 2:45, 3 o'clock, we will get about 2.5 hours and try and come back in to work then for 5:30. Do as much preparation as we can for the service starting at 7:30. And the service goes then from 7:30 and the last seat is at 10.
Right.
So it's all go. It's all action. It's brilliant.
And do you always do that daytime shift?
No,
or do you sometimes
it does change. So yesterday was split shift, and then today, for example, my schedule has changed to doing the dinner service. So I'm going to go in today at 2 o'clock, and I'll work straight through till about 11:30, depending on how many people we have, what time we finish at. But generally, 11:30 at night. So I'm lucky my hours aren't too bad. I've a lot of friends that in the industry that work a lot longer hours. But I think now in the last sort of 5-6 years, a lot of chefs are realising that you don't get the best performance out of your chefs, the people that you work with, if you're doing 16-hour days every day. It's better to have a few more people and work shorter hours. And just like the rest of the world and a lot of the other industries, having that work-life balance is starting to become a lot more important in the restaurant world.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that. We hear so much about the atmosphere in kitchens, and sometimes we hear it's quite despotic. You have a head chef who is manic and throws frying pans. Nevertheless, you obviously love the excitement of it all. Yeah. What is it really like, the atmosphere in your kitchen?
The atmosphere in my kitchen is there's high pressure, but we are very calm with that pressure. My chef is a very calm chef. He's definitely not the throwing pots and pans at you sort of guy. You don't want to get on his wrong side, just like any chef. There's a lot of pressure in his head, but he is a very good chef, very nice chef. Helps us with training. We've got a very good sous chef who does the same thing. There's a big difference between throwing the baby out of the pram and being firm.
Right.
In pressure environments, when everything is down to the second, you need to be firm.
Right.
You can't be lazy. You need someone. Sometimes when you're a little bit tired, you need someone to give you that little kick or that little elbow to tell you to hurry up. It's definitely a necessary. I know for me it is. But in general, there's not a whole lot of aggression or pots and pans being thrown around in the kitchen. It's all very calm and direct, and get this done and this is what we need, and it's clear. And once you've got good communication, that also helps, So,
and what do you love about it?
The pressure. I love the pressure. I love the feeling of being under pressure and creating something that with your own two hands that you can give up to the chef, and he says, okay, that's good enough. I can put that out to the servers. And for me, that's a great feeling, and you get that feeling a lot during the service when they're going very well. That this is looking very well tonight, and this is looking very well tonight. So for me, it's performing under the pressure and being able to create tangible things with my hands. I absolutely love it.
Let's talk a bit about the Michelin star system, because of course the new list came out last night. Your restaurant has retained its 1 star.
Yes, we were absolutely delighted.
How do you get a star? How do you keep it? Is the pressure fantastic?
Yeah. So Michelin will send, I guess, judges around generally twice a year to your restaurant. We have no clue who they are. We will never know who they are. And so that kind of keeps us on our toes. That it means we can't be slack at any time. We don't know when a judge will be coming in to judge the restaurant. And you don't find out until the day.
Right.
So, for example, last night during the service, we had one of the guys had a live stream, a Facebook stream on his phone, that we knew that coming towards the end of the service, they'll be telling who's retained their stars.
Right.
So at the start of the ceremony, they're giving out all the first star, the people taking a first star for the first time, people progressing to the second and third star. And so when we found out last night, it was a great sense of relief as well as happiness that we've kept the standard up for another year.
Yeah, because it is immense pressure, isn't it? Recently, Sébastien
Bras.
That's right.
I'm not going to attempt to say the restaurant's name.
A top
it's a
three-star restaurant.
Top 3-star restaurant, and they had it for I believe 18 years. They've had it for a long time. Sébastien and his father Michel, as far as I'm aware, and just the pressure became too great. And at that level, especially getting to the 2 and 3 Michelin star, it is a lot of pressure to be perfect. You can't be anything short than perfect at that level. So the pressure is very, very high. And so it's a piece of history, I guess, because it was the first time that a chef had requested from Michelin to drop the stars. Normally, the chefs will just either give up the restaurant or move away from the restaurant, so that means that Michelin will automatically take them away. But it was the first time that the chef wanted to keep his restaurant but give away his stars. And it was the first time that Michelin had accepted that request. Final
question. This is a French system, the Michelin system. Are they still the best at all of this stuff, at judging, at having the best restaurants? Do they know more about food? Are they simply the best in everything to do with food in the world still?
I wouldn't say they're still simply the best, but, you know, a lot of the world's culinary history has come from Europe, which has traditionally come from France. So it is still definitely the traditional home of gastronomy, for me, in the world. But I think the rest of the world over the last 15, 20 years has really caught up to France with their standards of food. And you see that with America, Australia, Scandinavia. You see that the standards are picking up. But I think everybody still looks to France to see, okay, that's the standard we need to get to. And that's the standard that everybody's trying to keep. So I definitely think they are definitely one of the leaders in the world of gastronomy. But, you know, I think it's a preferential thing whether they are the best. For me, they are.
Right.
I love French food. You know, I love the butter and the dairy and the cheese, the charcuterie. So for me, they're the best. And that's the reason I came here. But, yeah.
Well, it's lovely to hear your story. Thank you very much. Thanks very much.
Thanks for having me.
Bye-bye.